Star Wars has so much wisdom for our collective times. Let's talk today about some of that wisdom. Hi, I'm Sharani, and I am a former therapist turned spiritual healer, teacher, mentor, and coach for people who are here to eradicate supremacy culture and know that the work begins within. Earlier this year, for the first time in my 4 decades on this planet, I got really into Star Wars. And I just wrapped up the Clone Wars series, not the cartoon movie, but the actual 7-season series. And at some point towards the end of season 6, Yoda ended up going on a solo quest where he received some really deep spiritual wisdom. And that's what we're going to talk about today. At some point along that quest, it was revealed to Yoda that the dark side of the Force, and I put quotation marks around dark side because a part of my own decolonial work and a part of my own dismantling and eradicating supremacy culture also looks at light supremacy and how everyone has turned light into good and dark into bad. And so please know that I'm putting quotation marks around this because it is not necessarily my belief, but I'm using the narratives of Star Wars itself. So along this quest, Yoda, it was revealed to him that the Clone Wars that was continuing, that was ongoing, the Jedi thought that they were doing right. The Jedi thought they were there to squash and oppose opposition and continue fighting for good. Little did they know, or little did they realize, that they actually, by participating in the war and by participating in the, what's it called? The death and the destruction, that they were actually feeding and fueling the dark side of the Force, thereby strengthening the dark side of the Force and weakening the light side of the Force that the Jedi channeled. No wonder they couldn't hear, feel, experience what was going on anymore. It's because they had turned that part of themselves off the more they kept feeding into the death, the drama, destruction, the chaos, even though they thought they were doing it for good. And this is a story that's not new, in indigenous tradition, in indigenous cultures. I cannot remember if it's a Diné story or if it is a Cherokee story. But there's the story of the 2 wolves, and which wolf is going to get stronger? Well, it's the wolf that you feed. And so in these collective times when there is so much death, drama, destruction, the 3Ds of the 3D world, when there is so much distortion, where there is so much division and so much that is pulling for your attention, your job and your role is to stay aligned in your center so that, unlike the Jedi, you do not lose access to your direct connection of knowing what is good, knowing what is yours to do, knowing what action to take. It is important that you stay aligned in what is yours to do. And you're not going to do that if you continue feeding the dark side of the Force. Let me know in the comments, did this resonate for you? What would you have to add to that? Let's talk about it. And if you are looking for ways on how to navigate these times, I have a whole host of offerings for you. You can find them by visiting my website, SharaniMBatuk.com, or clicking the link in my bio, depending on what platform you're finding this video on. And you will be taken through a journey and exploration of all of the things that I offer. The place that I encourage you to start is my Embody Love on-demand workshop. It is a 90-minute masterclass in how we stay in ourselves, how we stay in our center, how we do not allow these forces that desire to keep us engaged in the death, drama, destruction, and chaos, how to stay centered and aligned so that we don't get pulled into that distortion. Again, you'll find the link in my bio or over at SharaniMBatuk.com, and I truly hope to see you in those courses with me. Because remember, we are in this together.